What's up, AfterBuzzers? We are here, 13 Reasons Why After Show. We're talking about Season 3, Episode 9, Always Waiting for the Next Bad News. We're going to be discussing Justin's addiction, Clay is finally a POI, and Mrs. Baker makes a call. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, welcome folks. We're here, 13 Reasons Why After Show. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm your boy Danny Royce, and I'm joined by the lovely Monica Ortega.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in.
She brings us our special segment of Who Done It. You can also find her on a travel show, Monica Goes.
Yeah.
Where are you going, Monica?
Oh man, I just got back from Canada and then I'm going to Montana.
Oh.
And in between, 13 Reasons Why. I've just been binge watching this. It's so amazing.
I know, like we talked about 3 episodes yesterday, and we're back again, bringing you 2 more, episode 9 and 10. Today, this episode There was a lot going on. I call it the Justin episode.
For sure.
Right? So what was your overall opinion?
Yeah, I think right off the bat when they started with him in bed, I was like, oh, this is the Justin episode, which I was grateful for because I feel like I've had so many questions. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about it a few times. Like season 2 ends with Justin shooting up, and then they just haven't addressed it. So now we're into episode 9, and we finally get some of these answers.
Right.
So I liked kind of learning about what was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that we suspected, but didn't really get the figure out what was going on. And then we saw a lot between him, his relationships with Zack, Bryce, and Jessica. So I want to and Seth. Yes. Yeah. I want to just dive into that. So first, let's start off with Zack. His relationships with Zack. So Zack found out he was using again, right? Yeah. And because Justin actually came out and told him, which was cool because I found like Justin has a respect for Zack that he doesn't, that he doesn't really share with a lot of other people, but he has a certain respect for it. How did you think that went down?
They have a really interesting relationship.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they've never been friends, but they have like that sports team bond, and Zack is the kind of guy that always does the right thing, and Justin's always trying to and failing. So it was nice to see their relationship, and Zack kind of took him under his wing and was like, look, sports can be good for you and they'll help you get back on track, and he really like commits to getting Justin involved. And even when Justin tries to quit, he's like, nope, this is gonna be good. So it was nice to see him stick his hand out and try to help his friends. So.
Yeah, and I mean, because I think football does that for Zack, he it helps him get away, especially from his mom, and like just finally gives him meaning to be a part of something. You know what I mean? It was great, and I love how he brought Justin into that, and it's like, okay, this is gonna help you get away from all the bad stuff. And then they, I like that scene when they're throwing grapes on the bed of Clay. I'm like, disrespect.
And even Clay's like, you two are friends? Like, what's happening?
What's going on?
I will say, too, I love the fact, because this show does point jocks in sports in a bad light. Yes. And this was kind of a nice episode to see some of the good things that sports can do. I'm a big sports person. I love football. So it was nice to see how it's actually helping people, too, instead of just creating such a bad thing in the high school. So I did like it for that. And then they kind of tied that in at the end with Jessica trying to pull the funding from them, and Zack saying it helps some people, and Justin saying, look, it saved my life.
Exactly, yeah.
So I thought it was a really nice turnaround to how they make the jocks look normally.
Yeah, I like that too. And being a former jock, I was like, I appreciated the look.
Right?
It's like, thanks, we're cool too, we're nice people. But yeah, that was such a turnaround, especially for Jessica, just seeing like, oh, okay, it can be a good thing.
Things, yeah.
So when I go to let's go to Jess and Justin, their relationship. So they're out and proud, kissing in the hallways. They're just.
I love that scene where they're like trying to figure out, how does this look and how does this work, and we're about to get a lot of judgment, and then they both kind of just decide, Screw it.
Would you be able to do that though? Like personally,
Personally, no. I'm not a PDA person.
No, not like the PDA aspect of it. Well, that
just
part
got
too.
real personal.
Not the PDA aspect of it, but you're like, don't touch me. No, no. The just knowing what Justin did, knowing the history, are you able to move past that?
Yeah, that's a lot of judgment that they're choosing to step into.
Right.
But I think they also realize, look, people have already been staring at us. Like, we've already been a part of this story. Everybody already knows what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a tough one to be like, and now I'm going to get back with this person.
Yeah.
Harder for her, because she's
course.
going to get a ton of judgment for going after him again. But yeah, I think she's grown so much from the entire thing that what other people think is kind of so minimal to her now after going through the trial and everything with Bryce. Like,
and I love that. I love that about her, because she found her strength. You know, she's got her power back. But what is it about Justin that you think she just really can't shake off?
I think it's the first love thing. It's that Well, it's the connection of first love, high school, all that sort of that deep love. But also they've been through a lot. They've been through the trenches together, and not always on the same side.
Yeah.
But they know each other in a way that not a lot of people around them do.
Right.
So I think that there's that connection too, and the combination of them when you're a teenager is just, a lot. So.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot. But I mean, it's room to grow, it's room to expand, and I really saw a side of Jessica was like, okay, it doesn't matter anything. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to be support you, and I'm going to be here with you. So I thought that was really amazing seeing that. And Justin and Bryce's relationship. So we already knew they were brothers. You know, we already knew how close their relationship was, but we found out even more how close their relationship became. So Bryce found out Justin was using again, right? Via the whole thing that happened with Seth. So he was. We go back to season 1, right? Yeah, when he took the money, or no, season 2. That was season 2.
I think it was the beginning of season 2.
Yes, beginning of season 2. Getting confused. So when Justin stole the money and left, so Seth wants back that and some. So Justin starts dealing out of his coffee shop.
Which super clever.
It's clever as hell. I
was like, no one's ever gonna catch that.
No one's ever gonna catch that.
Don't do drugs though. Horrible.
But it was a good idea. No. That's like millionaire mentality right there.
Right?
So he starts dealing out of the coffee shop, and meets up with Seth, and things don't go very well. So Bryce decides to help him out. So he pays. Bryce has been like dropping money all this season. It seems like we found out like how many times he's just been dropping money. Like,
well, he said it's his dad's money.
His dad's money to help him, to keep him away. Yeah. Right?
He hates his dad.
Exactly. So I mean, it's dope, but it's cool to see Bryce like helping other people with the money instead of just going to the club or just, throwing it away, and he's giving it to people who need it at that time. But that whole situation in the alley. What did you think about that? Did you think anything was going to transpire from that when you were watching it?
Oh, yeah. When he was using the drugs, I was like, oh, this is not going to be good, because Seth obviously wants his money. Which, again, I was kind of glad that they tied this up, because they showed Seth for like a half a second at the end of season 2. And I had to go back and look him up. I was like, who is this guy? What's happening? So we finally see why he's back in town. He's out of jail. He's coming back for his money. So, yeah, when Justin started doing the drugs, I was like, yep, this is not going to end well. And of course it didn't. Seth came back and got after him. But Bryce and Justin have such a brother relationship. Yeah. And even Ani, I think in the voiceover, said he's a brother without blood, or I don't know how she worded it, but basically they're brothers. Yeah. And it was nice to see him stepping up and trying to help him. I feel like he truly is trying to make amends with everybody that he hurt. And the number one person he probably mourns the loss of is his best friend. And so this was kind of his way to get in and be like, yes, we can connect. Right. And even Clay kind of says it's so he can control you. I don't think it's control, but I think it's connection.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think he was excited to have a reason that Justin had to call him.
Right.
Because I'm guessing that's probably how they grew up. Like, Justin was always calling him to bail him out. Yeah. So I don't think it was shocking to Bryce to be like, I'm in jail and I'm in trouble.
Right.
And I need money. And he's
I
like,
can tell that's
yep.
how the relationship was.
Yep.
It's like, yep, I got you.
Yeah.
Like, I got you.
But I love this scene with Bryce and Seth when he tells Seth, he's like, look, I have nothing.
Right.
I have nothing to lose
I have
here.
nothing to lose, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, are you the rapist? And he was like, yep, which also means I'm crazy. Like, you don't want to mess with me.
He's like, my life is messed up. So.
Yeah. He's like, not the person to get mad.
Right. But I really like Bryce throughout the season. Like, he never really flinches. He's always like standing his ground. He's just like, I am who I am. Like, I messed up and I'm trying to better myself, but there's nothing you can do to really scare me at this moment because everything's already messed up, bro. Like, it's just...
It's nice to see him owning up to this negative title because I feel like all of season 2 was him denying it.
Exactly.
And now he's finally going, yep, I did it. I want to make amends, and if you want to call me the rapist, yep, I'm not going to deny it. Like, he's like leaning into it in this situation.
That's crazy. But and he pays him $5,000. Okay, that's like more than enough. And we also obviously Seth keeps coming back. You know, we find out. Yeah. But that's just a lot. But then the oxy that Bryce gives Justin. So how do you feel about that? Like, you're an addict. I can't get you off. Like, I don't have the resources or anything like that to get you off. But I'm gonna help you find a better addiction. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just an interesting way. I mean, I know they're kids. You know, I get it. But it's just an interesting way to like help someone.
I think it was a messed up way to help him because you know what's stopping him from doing both now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's
cool,
like, take
I'll
these.
chase my heroin with some oxycodone. Like, maybe don't give him more drugs.
Right.
But I think his intention was good.
Yeah, the intention was good. I mean, it's like it's like an alcoholic. It's like, oh, don't drink this whole fifth. Just have a shot.
Yeah.
And then in an hour, have another shot.
Right?
Like, what?
Maybe not the best plan, but, you know, they're teenagers. He's trying his best, just doing it wrong.
Right. So we find out that's where Justin got the oxy. Yes. And he didn't kill Bryce. That's what this whole thing, Clay actually thought he might have had something to do with it. I mean, Clay's bouncing off of everybody, though. He's like...
He's grasping.
He's grasping.
Especially because in this episode, he's named a person of interest.
Yes.
Officially named a person of interest.
Yes.
Which, first of all, I do want to shout out the chat, which thank you guys so much for joining us right now. Debbie says, Bryce and Justin's lives will always be intertwined in a way. And Amy says, I don't think it's too cool to have that many scenes of Bryce's redemption. Totally controversial. They keep showing him in a nice way this season, which is conflicting because you start to feel bad for him, then you remember who he is. And it's like, that's weird. Yeah. And Billie Jean says this season made me see Bryce in a different way, but I still don't like him. Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, you don't like what he did, of course. But before we go on to our next topic, Monica has a very special message for you all.
Yes, we do want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in, being supporters of AfterBuzz TV, making us the ESPN of TV talk. We really could not do this without you, and we love what we do.
Aww.
Such nice music, too. So please help us out. If you are in the chat right now, if you're watching online, if you're watching later, please be sure on YouTube to give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. We check all those comments. We love interacting with you guys. Hit subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you are listening on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. That way we can keep doing this and keep bringing you these awesome shows. So thank you guys so much.
Yes. Thank you for that, Monica. And so they did a random drug test. Which was interesting. I mean, we never did random drug tests. I probably should have for some people. But, so it was just interesting. That moment was seeing Justin, like, freak out like that. And so, obviously, that's what made him tell Zack. Mm-hmm. What did you think about that whole... conversation between the coach and Justin.
Between the coach and Justin,
that was pretty deep.
Yeah.
But I see what he was doing, but it was pretty deep.
I feel like Justin is the kind of person who, no matter how hard he tries to screw up in life, he's got people that won't let him.
Right.
Which is awesome.
It's amazing, right?
Like, he has all the cards stacked against him, and yet all these people in his corner fighting for him. Mm-hmm. So he tries to quit, and the coach steps in and is like, oh, you buy drugs on 5th Street? Like, I know. I've been in your, like, almost like I've either been in your shoes or I know the situation, but don't try to act like I don't understand. And in that moment, Justin kind of goes, all right, I guess I'll stick around. Which I thought was so, he's like done and in his face. And then all of a sudden he's like, 2 miles? All right. Like,
it's like, it's already 2? What?
Yeah. But yeah, it was such a good moment. And then with the drug test, you know, Zack obviously is standing up for him, which I was kind of like, how's he going to get out of this? It's like, is Bryce going to come and pee in a cup for him?
Right. Hey,
like,
he probably would.
He like calls up Bryce, I'm going to need your urine now. But so Zack obviously always does the right thing. And in this situation, he was torn. Like, he's such a moral, straight line guy. And you could see that he was conflicted, but he also wants to help Justin because he knows he's trying.
Right.
And I love that Justin told him ahead of time. And Zack's like, I can't help you. And he's like, I know. I just wanted you to be the first to know.
That's nice.
It's such a good move. And I think by doing that, that's when Zack went, he really is trying.
Yeah.
And helped him out. So
I wonder how he helped him out though. He said he made a switch. With who?
Right? Who's taking the fall?
Yeah, right.
Monty.
That's what I was thinking, Monty.
Take
like,
down Monty.
Is this gonna come back up?
I mean, it's got to come back up.
It's got to, right?
Yeah, because he's not gonna switch with his own.
Right, of course not.
So somebody's going down in the next episode.
Hey, I'm interesting to see. But so and then we find out finally what Justin did after homecoming. He went down to the docks to get high.
Yeah, which was interesting that he told Jessica that he cheated.
Yes, which brings us to that. So you'd rather tell someone that you cheated on them than you using again, so he thought one would be worse than the other. Mm-hmm. What did you think about that whole lie?
I get it. In his mind, he's no good for her. He has very little self-esteem. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to protect her by saying, I'm no good for you. But obviously, if he says, I'm no good and I've fallen back into drugs, he knows Jess. He knows she's going to stand by him and do her best. Mm-hmm. By saying I cheated, she's going to end it. You know what I mean? Right. So in his mind, he's pushing her away to try to help her, which doesn't work.
Exactly. Which is interesting because she didn't believe him anyway.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't believe that would even happen. So, okay. All right.
But she knew what he was doing and that he was pushing her away.
Pushing her away for some reason.
Yeah.
Which also shows just how much a badass Jessica is, because she is, and loyal. And I just love how her character has grown.
I know. I didn't like her first season.
No, I didn't.
And now neither. She's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I like her.
She's really down for the cause.
Yeah.
Debbie Brossard says, I like the coach too, way better than the baseball coach from season 2.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yes, I agree with that. When Clay, Ani, and Justin was snooping was crazy, Debbie Brossard. Which that's gonna we're gonna talk about that next. So Clay has been labeled POI, person of interest, right? So they're really trying to go after this guy.
Well, it makes sense.
It does.
When you look at the evidence.
It does.
You know, obviously we know Clay and love Clay because he's like the main guy. But from the police perspective, of course he's a person of interest. Like,
right.
You have video footage of him holding a gun up to Bryce.
Right.
They'd be really bad cops if they didn't bring him in.
and he's been, I mean, he gets so defensive and angry about it, which doesn't help the cause. It doesn't make it look good. But I understand, and of course, it's it's Clay. He gets defensive all the time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help his cause. But then, so they think now Seth has something to do with it, right? Because
which should make sense
of the whole text.
Yeah.
Which I wonder what that had to do with the text. I don't believe Seth killed Bryce. But
I wouldn't be surprised if he saw it.
Yes, I
think he definitely knows something that he's holding over their head for sure.
Right.
Yeah. And I think the reason of course they want it to be him. Here's a guy we actually want to go to prison. Mm-hmm. We can wrap our heads around the fact that he would be a murderer. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a lot easier to do that than be like, maybe it's my best friend. Like, obviously you want the criminal to be the one who committed the crime.
Of course.
But I thought it was crazy that they went to do a search on their own.
Right.
We know this guy is nuts.
You know what? The funny thing, like throughout this whole season is like these kids are closer to finding out who the killer is than the cops.
Yeah.
Because of their own little investigations.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, they go there, and then Seth comes back, of course. Comes back and pulls a gun, and I just love Ani's reaction to
That girl is crazy. She just walks up to him. Did you kill him? Like, what? Maybe don't ask that to the person holding the gun. Yeah, she was all up in his
And
face.
then Clay's pushing the situation, and Justin's just like, stop it, guys.
Yeah. Well,
But-
Justin knows his level of craziness,
Exactly.
too. He knows that he actually will pull a trigger.
Oh, yeah.
And I think these kids, as weird as it is, have now been in front of guns that they
Right.
don't believe somebody would pull the trigger.
Yeah. And Justin, or
Yeah.
and Clay thinks because he steps in front of Tyler using gun, he can step in front of
Yeah.
anyone.
What?
Like, oh, guns, no problem.
Oh
I
my
got
goodness.
this. What are they blowing up in
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
chat?
yeah.
What did they say?
I feel like Justin plays a major role in Jess's recovery, no matter how messed up he gets. I totally agree. I
Yes.
think he's given her some power
Oh,
because
yeah.
with him, she gets to choose how she wants to be and how she wants to act, and he lets her do that. And so through their relationship, she's realizing she has a lot of power. She's helping him through his stuff. So it's that.
And that's kind of like what we were talking about last night. Like, you can't depend on someone for change. But in this instance, it's like Jessica is willing to help him change and help him reflect in himself that he needs change. So
you
there's
can
a
stand
difference.
by somebody and
Yes.
support them changing and like working through
Right.
that. But you can't change for somebody else.
Exactly.
And I think they're both doing it for themselves and just choosing to stand next to each other through the process.
Right, and that's why I think
Yeah.
the difference and the beauty in that lies. So yeah, so going back to Seth and his spot, I loved when Ani threw the bag at his gun though.
Yeah.
That
That was so quick. I was like,
it
I
was
don't even.
quick.
Also,
She was
who
like,
does that?
like what?
It's a gun. Like,
I mean, it was smart. I would have like threw something.
I would
But,
miss
like-
and the gun would go off. Like, you don't take a chance on that.
Right. It was good. It was spot on though. Like I was like,
Yeah.
come on, Ani. So they run out of there, right?
Yeah.
But we find out that Justin had been using again and sold Bryce's watch,
Yeah.
and that's what he was looking for at the repass,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It was very interesting.
Yeah. It also shows how deep he is into the drugs.
Yeah, very like you would sell your dead friend's
Yeah.
watch.
And I love that this whole episode kind of deals with the life of an addict. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it started, I wrote down her quote, it's like, life with an addict, you never know what to believe.
Exactly, and it's so true.
And yeah, in that moment, you realize how deep into the drugs he is, that he will do anything to get them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really sad.
Yeah, that's true.
And then in the end, with Clay, too, he obviously does it right in front of him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. He was snorting in the bathroom.
And he tells him, he's like, what are you doing? He was like, doing cocaine.
What do you think
like,
I'm doing?
what? Like, right there. I mean, he's admitted it at that point. Like, it's crazy, but yeah.
And then he wants help. He wants.
He does.
It's just really. It's really hard, and if anyone's like lived or known and someone with an addiction, it's really tough to get them to see. First, acknowledgement is the first thing, and then you just really have to work to move past it and see yourself as someone that's not addicted. Like, how would your life be if you didn't have this addiction?
Yes and no, because you also have to accept that it's going to be a part of your life forever.
Of course.
And it's going to be a struggle. And, most of the times relapse is part of it.
Yes.
And I can't imagine the kind of guilt that would come with relapse, because each time you think, well, I guess I've gone down this path again. And then it seems like you'd want to give up a little bit more. Like, well, I've already done it. But then you have to go through the process again. Like, it's just a constant thing. And I can't.
And it's like it's like the labyrinth, it's a long maze, but you find yourself at the end.
Which I do feel like this is a good moment, because in every episode we want to talk about how they talk about really hard issues in 13 Reasons Why, and they have really good resources on 13reasonswhy.info. So if you or anybody you know is struggling with addiction, suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, any of that stuff, please, please, please seek out some help. 13reasonswhy.info. There's videos from the actors talking about these different issues. And they have a crisis text line, and you can text the word REASON, REASON, to 741-741. And there are people there, and they care, and we care.
Yes.
So, addiction is a tricky thing, and you don't have to go through it alone, and you shouldn't go through it alone.
You shouldn't go through it alone. Thank you for that, Monica.
Yeah.
So this episode was the anniversary of Hannah's suicide.
Yeah.
So what's one of your favorite memories of Hannah? Let's talk about Hannah, because I miss Hannah.
I miss Hannah too. Oh man. I think just all the movie theater stuff.
Yeah.
Like between the two of them, they were just so cute with their little interactions, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I
like the movie theater part. Also some at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Just her and Clay's relationship was really fun to watch.
Yeah,
because
sweet.
It was sweet. They played off each other. They both were awkward and had their little geeky ways, and it was it was adorable. But
this is a good time. If you guys are in the chat, leave us a comment. Let us know your favorite Hannah moment.
Exactly.
Or if you're watching later, because
we're
we love
celebrating,
to relive
the
this.
memory of Hannah.
Yeah.
And her anniversary. I thought it was also interesting that, towards the end of this episode, Clay gives Justin the bottle back.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It was a very Bryce thing to do.
It was very Bryce thing to do.
It was a very Bryce thing to do. Yeah, it's like he also doesn't know how to help him.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to force it on him once. And even he says, why would you talk to Bryce and not me? And Justin says, you literally tried to force me to get clean, and that's not how this works.
Right.
And it obviously didn't work. So I think Clay is realizing there's got to be a different route. Again, I'm not sure giving him drugs is the right route, especially without help. I mean,
yeah, right.
I'm sure that does help to have a more minor drug. I don't really know how it works. But I don't think they should be doing that without an adult or a therapist. Like, there's got to be some middle person helping them, or what's from stopping them from getting addicted to that. Like,
right.
I don't know why they just keep giving him drugs.
It's I mean, even Bryce wouldn't sell that stuff to Alex that wanted it, because he was like, stuff's addicting.
Yeah.
So it's just like giving it back, and he said, I would do anything for you. Anything.
I did love that moment.
Yes, that was a nice moment. But then I was also like, anything.
There are a lot of parallels to Clay and Justin's relationship and Bryce and Justin's relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like part of this season is like 6 degrees of separation between Clay and Bryce, because they're like, he hates him so much. They're on opposite sides, but we're finding out a lot of similarities as we go through the season too. And part of that is the brothership that they have with Justin.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so we come to the end of the episode, right? And we learned that Mrs. Baker came back. Which
I was so pumped.
I was really pumped.
So pumped. I love her character. I love Kate Walsh.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It was not surprising that, especially the anniversary of Hannah's death.
I was surprised.
Really?
Yeah, because that chapter seemed closed. I mean, they were out. They were like going.
I guess I was just looking for her to come back so much that I was like, yes.
Yeah. Here she is.
She made a comeback. Yeah. So, and we found out that they've been talking. She leaves she left a message or a text that he saw at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he says, right.
Yeah.
He just like, something just hit him. What did you think that was?
I thought it was just him hearing from her.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be a bit odd. I mean, unless they've been talking this whole time, we don't know. But like, a year goes by and you hear, I'm sure that there's a flood of emotions. He's already feeling it because it's the anniversary of Hannah's death, and then here comes Mrs. Baker. Right. So I didn't really know what specifically it was, but I thought it was just emotions of her coming back.
Yeah, I was like, it's shocking for him, for sure. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, automatically I went to Bryce. I was like, maybe she knows something about Bryce's death. And then they just left us with that. So I was like, oh, okay.
I thought it was like the reaction, when you get a text from your ex and all of a sudden their name pops up and you're like, oh, like it's just unexpected. That's kind of where I went with it.
Personal experience.
Oh, God.
Like, let's see what they're saying. And Debbie, favorite Hannah moment. Yay. I like every scene with her parents at the pharmacy. Okay.
I
agree.
The
good old pharmacy. Clay and Ani do have chemistry. They seem to mirror each other. also said by
Oh, I
Debbie.
love this. Amy says, I love when Clay says he's afraid of forgetting Hannah, and she says, then don't. I feel like that's such a common thing when you lose somebody, is fearing the loss of their memory.
Yeah.
Like they start fading from your mind.
Right, right.
And I like that she came back, was it the end of season 2, and they have that moment, and she's saying, like, picture me in this place.
Yeah.
She's like, remember when we did this? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, I just wanted you to remember.
Right.
You know, like little things like that.
Yeah. Oh, that whole like season when she's inside her his head.
Yeah.
This ghost, and it's just I loved how they did that. But do you have any other comments about the episode?
I don't think so. I felt like it was tying up a lot of questions about Justin and about Seth, and this was definitely one that didn't leave me with a lot of questions other than how Miss Baker how she was going to be involved. But no, not like what was it, episode 8 where I was like, I hate it. I'm angry.
Right, I
like
know.
this one, I was kind of like, okay, yep, we're getting some answers.
Yeah, we're getting some answers. It was a great episode to learn a lot, especially about Justin. Not a lot happened this episode, and it was just like, okay, this happened, you know, this connect, that puzzle, you know, the pieces started coming together. There's more that needs to be answered, obviously.
For sure.
But I would like to go on to our special segment.
Yes. Speaking of more to figure out, who done it? This is our
Who done it?
Who done it? This is our special segment. If you guys are just tuning in, where based on the episode, we try to figure out who we think killed Bryce. Now, please, 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 no spoilers. No. We are watching them one episode at a time, so we legit don't know. But based on this episode, who do you think?
You know what? Monty. I went with Monty. The whole, especially confronting him. About the whole situation, his face, you know, his everything, his demeanor. I just feel like he knows something or done something that every time Bryce's name is mentioned, or every time love is mentioned, every time, you know, he has to remember his brother, it's a dark place for him. And it's not, and it doesn't seem like it's a mourning place. Like he's not grieving. It seems like I did something and I shouldn't have. Yeah.
I really want to say someone different, but I'm on the same page.
You're on the same page. It's totally fine.
And it's also because in the locker scene, when Justin gets in his face, he just looked freaked out.
Looked freaked out.
Freaked out.
I mean, there's a few reasons to be freaked out. I mean, we got the whole incident with Wilson. We got the whole thing with Tyler. But there's more. There's got to be more.
Yeah. All right. So we're still going with Monty.
Yep.
So if you have not watched Ahead, leave us a comment. If you have watched Ahead, don't say anything. So that is our special segment, Who Done It?
Oh, Amy, thank you. She says she loves this panel.
Yay.
Guys, epic after show. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining us, Amy. Yes. We're going to go to our special news.
Yes.
Or news and
News and gossip.
News and gossip. A special segment news.
So
news and gossip.
I had to look some stuff up about Kate Walsh because she is one of my favorite actresses, and I was so pumped to see her back. And this isn't exactly new news, but it was new to me. I actually did not know this. That she was actually diagnosed with a brain tumor a few years ago, right when she turned 50. And 2015 exactly. Wow. And she said it was a benign brain tumor, and it was actually the same kind as Maria Menounos. And our founder Maria Menounos, and they bonded over that, and they both have very strong platforms on women's health, and a lot of women in the industry, they talk about how they just work so hard and there's pressure to go and not put their health first. So they're both really strong advocates towards women's health and diet and nutrition and taking care of yourself and all of that. So I found that very interesting, and I'm glad that both of them are okay.
Wow. I really love Kate Walsh as well, and I feel like you know, people put that as like second, you know, your health as second, like, and sometimes, I mean, I've been guilty of it as well. Like you're on a go, you're working on dreams, goals, aspirations, doing all this stuff. But you're not going to be able to achieve any of that if you're not healthy, or you're not going to be able to enjoy any of that if you're not healthy. So your health is like priority, top priority.
1,000%.
And I totally believe in that, and it's one of the reasons why I do a lot of things that I do. So, but thank you for that.
Yeah, I just found that very
love
interesting, and I like her a lot, and I'm so glad that they brought her back, and so she's good.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal actress.
Oh, she's so good.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Guys, well, that does it for this episode. We'd like to thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us discuss this crazy episode. We talking about episode 10 coming up very shortly. Monica, go ahead, see us out.
Yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can find me all across social media at Monica Goes Show.
And you can find me everywhere at I Am Daniel Race, also Monday nights on the Terror After Show. Thank you so much, folks. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.